Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Luke and I do perfume videos here on YouTube. I mainly discuss designer, vintage and affordable perfumes. In this video, I'll be sharing my best perfume discoveries of 2024. These are the fragrances that I either discovered, blind bought or purchased after testing. So let's get started. I won't go into too much detail, I'll just give you an overview of these scents, and for those that I have reviewed in depth, I'll include links in the description. The first fragrance that I finally added to my collection is Chanel No. 5 Pure Perfume. Yes, this is the Parfum version, and this is a vintage bottle of the Pure Perfume from probably late 70s, early 80s. It doesn't have a batch code, so I know that it's vintage. I also like the new version, which I did test in a Chanel beauty boutique at the airport. I really liked it. I prefer it to the EdP, which has a bit too much freshness and ylang-ylang for my taste. The Pure Perfume is all about the aldehydes, the skanky, almost indolic jasmine, the vanilla, and the civet. And since this is a vintage bottle, the civet used in here is probably the real civet extract. I absolutely love this fragrance. I wear it to bed. It's comforting and it's just an abstract fragrance like no other. It's the most legendary fragrance of all time. Yes, it deserves that title. Many people don't like it. I absolutely love it, but the Pure Perfume is just on another level. I prefer this to any other version of No. 5, and I'm so happy to have added it to my collection. So that's Chanel No. 5 Pure Perfume, Extrait de Parfum, Parfum, whatever you want to call it. Let's do another Chanel. This is Coco Mademoiselle Intense. And again, I happen to prefer this one to the original. I do like the original. It's a classic. I've had several bottles of that one, but this one is my current favorite. I don't know why it took me 6 years to discover it, but I really love it. This is incredibly sexy. It has the same rose, citrus, patchouli accord as the original. It definitely has a citrusy bite in the opening, but when this dries down, this is just divine. If you like patchouli, if you like musk, you need to try this. This is an amped up version of the original. They added more vanilla, more tonka bean, and I get something very musky in the dry down. It's richer, sweeter, more intense, and the muskiness in this fragrance is to die for. It's so sexy and even a touch masculine, I would say. It really is the perfect balance between sweet and dry, innocent and provocative, grown up and juvenile. It's just an absolute masterpiece of a fragrance. If you like the original Coco Mademoiselle, or even if you don't like the original, give this one a try. I've got another Chanel here. This is Chanel Allure, the EdP from 1999. This is not as popular as other Chanel fragrances, but I was really curious about this one, so I blind bought it from someone on a secondhand website back in May, and I did wear it a lot in the spring and summer. I haven't been wearing it in the autumn and winter, I have to say. This is to me a typical spring fragrance. It's a 90s style floral with peach, some vanilla, some musk. It has the Chanel DNA. It's a classic. It's beautiful, very floral and powdery, so it might not be for everyone. It's not really your typical Chanel fragrance. This is probably the least Chanel-esque fragrance of all my Chanel fragrances, but it is very elegant and sophisticated nonetheless. So that's Chanel Allure, the EdP from 1999, a classic. Speaking of classics, I finally added Shalimar to my collection. This is Shalimar from Guerlain, the Eau de Toilette, and this is one of the most beautiful, decadent, exquisite vanilla fragrances of all time. It's the mother of all Orientals. It's the Oriental. It was inspired by an ancient Indian love story, and this fragrance was created by Jacques Guerlain back in the 1920s. It was the quintessential flapper girl fragrance from the 1920s, the flapper girl era, the roaring 20s. It's a vibe. And I have a very specific reason why I bought the Eau de Toilette. I tried the Eau de Parfum some time ago, and it was just too much for me. The leathery, smoky dry down was just overwhelming. I couldn't wear it for more than a couple of hours. But this one still has a bit of that leather. It smells like Shalimar, definitely, but it has more vanilla, it's sweeter, it's more powdery, it's more wearable, it's softer, and I just love wearing this one. This does not feel like a fragrance from the 1920s at all. I find it really chic, modern, and wearable. So that's Guerlain Shalimar, the Eau de Toilette. If Shalimar is the mother of all Orientals, well, then Opium is her daughter, and Opium is a grand Oriental from the 70s. It was incredibly popular in the 80s, in the 90s, and it's still popular to this day. I really love this fragrance, and I'm so glad I rediscovered it in 2024. This one is just stunning. It's a myrrh fragrance. It has some mandarin in the opening. You get some patchouli, some vanilla, but the myrrh is the star of the show. If you like myrrh, if you like a Popanax, if you like resinous, balsamic fragrances, don't sleep on this one. I also did a full review of this one on my channel, and I'll link it down below. So that's Opium, the Eau de Parfum. This year, I discovered another Chanel fragrance, and this one is Allure Sensuelle, the Eau de Parfum from 2005. And this is a beautiful, warm, spicy patchouli fragrance. It's mysterious and nighttime appropriate, nothing like the original Allure, in my opinion. I like both, but I think this one might be my favorite. You get some rose, some iris, some dried fruits, and then you get the beautiful patchouli, a hint of vanilla, the black pepper. It's such a unique fragrance. It opens citrusy, floral, and powdery, but then it becomes warmer, more balsamic. I can really smell the frankincense, which is not listed on Fragrantica, but it is listed on the Chanel website. So this has a resinous note in the base, but the patchouli is the star of the show, in my opinion. It's present throughout the fragrance, from the opening to the dry down. I would not say that this is a sweet fragrance. It's more on the drier side. The woods, the patchouli, and the pink pepper prevent it from becoming too sweet. So that's Chanel Allure Sensuelle, the Eau de Parfum. Moving on, we've got Sensuous from Estée Lauder. This is classified as Oriental Woody, but to me, this is more of a sweet, honeyed, woody fragrance with some white florals. It does lean classic, but it's also modern and sweet. I really like it. This one came out back in 2008. I didn't buy this one in the 2010s, but I remember it. Unfortunately, they discontinued it a couple of years ago, but it made a comeback and it's back. Who knows for how long? So if you want a bottle of this, grab it. As I said, it's a sweet, woody, sandalwood fragrance. It's sweet, creamy, powdery, comforting. It's a good fragrance, and I got it for a very good price. I have a full review on my channel, and I also have a playlist of all my reviews of Estée Lauder fragrances. I'll link it down below. So that was Sensuous from Estée Lauder. So let's do another Estée Lauder fragrance. This is called Knowing, and this is from the late 80s. It's a classic, sophisticated, green, floral, woody, mossy chypre. It was on my wish list. I would have bought it myself, but my mum got it for me in the duty-free shop at the airport when she was traveling. So I'm really happy that I have it because it's one of my favorite vintage chypres. And it's one of those fragrances that people would consider a stinker, because this is the kind of fragrance that will stink up the entire room. It's very strong. It's beast mode. It's a powerhouse. And by the way, I did do a video on vintage stinkers. as a response to people bashing classic fragrances. I really appreciate classic fragrances. And if you do too, and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. I mainly talk about designer, vintage, classic fragrances. And I also have a full review of Knowing. If you wish to check it out, I'll link it down below. So that's Knowing by Estée Lauder. The next fragrance is Tocade from the house of Rochas. And this is a stunning, underrated floral vanilla scent from the 90s. It came out in 1994. I discovered this one 30 years later in 2024. This is the new version. I really like it. I haven't tried the vintage one. I did try it at the airport once, a long time ago. But this one is a very nice floral vanilla fragrance. It's powdery, sweet, slightly spicy. Tocade means a whim or a fad, and this is a fun fragrance, living life on a whim. I have a full review of this fragrance. I'll link it down below so you can check it out. But if you're looking for a nice, classic, floriental vanilla fragrance, this one, you can't go wrong with this one. So Tocade from the house of Rochas. The next fragrance is another vanilla fragrance. This is Lalique Le Parfum. And I got this in April. This is a vanilla fragrance with an aromatic twist. It has a bay leaf note. It's what I would call a grown-up vanilla fragrance. It's sweet, creamy, but not gourmand in any way. This is a classic vanilla fragrance. Yes, it's a sweet designer fragrance, but it does have a nice twist. The bay leaf makes it slightly green, aromatic, and I also get something woody in the base and something fruity in the opening. Overall, it's a very nice fragrance. It smells kind of expensive. You can get this for around 20 to 30 euros, dollars, pounds. It's a very inexpensive fragrance, but it does smell expensive. So that's Lalique Le Parfum from the house of Lalique. The next fragrance is Venezia from the house of Lauder Biagiotti. And this one is what most people would consider a unicorn. It's very hard to find. It was discontinued a long time ago. If you want a bottle of this, you'll have to go on eBay and pay 200, 300 euros, perhaps even more. I got mine for a very good price in a bundle. Someone had no idea what they were selling and I snatched it. I've been wanting to try this fragrance for the longest time. So now I finally own it, and this is a beautiful, fruity, spicy, floral, ambery fragrance from the 90s. And this is so unique. It smells a bit like Coco from Chanel. I absolutely love it. It's a warm, comforting, floriental scent. One of my favorite scent profiles. I really love that. Unfortunately, you can't get it anymore, so I'll cherish this bottle for years to come. I'll only use it sparingly. So that's Venezia from the Italian house of Lauder Biagiotti. The next fragrance is another vintage classic, and it's Chantilly from the house of Dana, originally released by Houbigant back in the 1940s. This is a classic, citrusy, spicy, vanilla fragrance, a bit resinous, a bit balsamic, powdery, vanillic, citrusy. This is actually a softer version of Shalimar from Guerlain. I've been loving the citrusy, powdery, vanilla scent profile of the original Shalimar, and I also really love Chantilly. And Chantilly was sent to me by a good friend of mine who wore this as a signature back in the day. I was really curious to try it. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a bottle of Chantilly anywhere in Europe. So my friend sent it to me all the way from Arizona. Thank you so much, Leah, if you're watching. And I've got another vanilla fragrance. This is Vanilla from Alyssa Ashley. I got this back in January and I've been wearing it a lot, both on its own and as a layering scent. This is just the perfect, sweet, creamy, sugary vanilla scent that isn't too gourmand, I would say. It doesn't smell like a gourmand fragrance, but it's a very sweet vanilla. And even though it has some other notes, the only note I can smell is the vanilla. So if you're looking for a single note vanilla fragrance, something to layer with, or just wear it on its own, if you're a big vanilla fan like I am, I love anything vanilla, from scented candles to shower gels to shampoo. I have a vanilla shampoo actually. Check this one out. I would love to try some other fragrances from Alyssa Ashley. I also ordered Cocoa Vanilla a while back, but unfortunately it came with a broken sprayer and I couldn't even try it. I just returned it. But I would love to try other fragrances from Alyssa Ashley. So these are all the fragrances that I decided to include in this video. As you can see, some of them have quite a big dent because I've been wearing them a lot. I invite you to give this video a like and please leave me a comment down below. What were your best purchases of 2024? Any fails? Any blind buys? I'd love to chat in the comments. Thank you everyone for your support, for continually watching my videos in 2024. Have a lovely holiday season. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate, and I'll see you in the new year with a perfume haul. Bye.